Hey, let's get liberated from the chaos of working in your business. If you don't write it down, you don't own it. This is what Michael Gerber said. Hey, it's Scott Beebe, the host of the Business on Purpose podcast, where we come as often as we can to try to bring you real-life principles from the field, from the trenches, from inside the conference rooms and conversations with real-time, heroic small business owners. I got a book from a friend of mine. It's called The Last Arrow by a guy named Erwin McManus. He's actually a pastor in California, I believe. And my friend gave me the book, and as I was reading the book, it was interesting. It's a book about a guy who was kind of on the top of the world, and in 2016 he was told he had cancer. It's a leader and influencer, and was told he had cancer. And as the book is going on, it's telling a bit of his story, and there was a sentence that stuck out to me. And it's a book called The Last Arrow. It's a book about essentially leaving this world with the quiver of arrows empty, meaning shoot everything you got. But one of the sentences that struck me and really stood out to me was when he said this, and I'm paraphrasing: write down everything that needs to be written down. Write down everything that needs to be written down. In other words, we have words that need to be written down, and there is an automatic legacy to a word when it becomes scribed on a sheet of paper or on a document. That word goes from being merely an idea floating in the universe, and it becomes transformative into a legacy written down and recorded. If you look at all the great philosophies, you look at all the great world religions, what do they all have in common? They've got a written document of some kind. And so I realized that at the time of this recording, it's 2018. By the time you hear this recording years from now, it's going to be probably something completely different. Life will have transformed. Life will have moved on. Technology will have advanced. And the power of the written word will remain. And so one of the things I want to encourage you to do, not only in the spirit of systematizing and processing your business, which offers great clarity for so many people and offers empowering clarity for so many people, but I also want to encourage you to take some of your ideas, your philosophies, your insight, your perspective, the uniqueness of who you are, what we call your narrow brilliance, and begin to write it down. Write it down in thank you notes. Write it down in a blog post. Write it down in a book. It's part of the reason I do this podcast. It's not written down, and there may come a day where we transcribe all of this, but there's documentation of some kind. And when that documentation happens, legacy has a chance to occur. And legacy may not be important to you, but it certainly is to everybody who comes behind you. You have a lot of words to share. I hope you'll take some time as a heroic small business owner and write some of those words down for your team. Write some of those words down for your family. This past weekend, we were at a heroic small business owner conference where a small business owner decided to run an entire conference just for his team. And in it, he retweaked and he shared his updated, refreshed vision of the business. And it was powerful. And in the culture section, 7 sections of the vision story that we encourage you to write down, mybusinessonpurpose.com/vision. In the 7th section, the culture section, he made a statement written down. Life and business necessarily coexist. Life and business necessarily coexist. Changes the game. It changes the game for anybody who wants to work at the company, because he's making a declaration that this company is different because it's written down. Michael Gerber said, if you don't write it down, you don't own it. So I hope you'll write it down. And as always, I really, really appreciate you joining me, and I'm grateful for the time that you attend to trying to get better, to be a heroic small business owner, and to be liberated from the chaos of working in your business. We'll see you next time, right here on the Business on Purpose podcast.